I was really proud of my name because it just sounded so cool. Maria Dela Cruz. Everyone was always like, wow, your last name is so cool. And the funny thing about that is Dela Cruz in the Philippines is a very, very common name. It's actually similar to Smith. You hear it all the time. My name is Maria Caspillan Mendoza de Venecia de la Cruz. I'm not quite sure how I got my name. I know that my mother chose my first name, Maria. I immigrated to Canada when I was 4 years old. I already knew English because it had always been important for my grandfather for me to speak English. However, I also had this instinct that somehow language would protect me. I didn't speak Tagalog for many years with my parents, and I only spoke English. Nobody ever spelled it out for me, but I just had this feeling that I should do what it takes to fit in. It's why I grew up thinking, oh, Dela Cruz, I must have something on somebody. I was always so proud of it. I was always so proud that it was Spanish and it didn't sound weird like some of the other Filipino names. It gave me a sense of superiority, honestly, that is ill-founded and silly now. I was a really young mom, and I had 3 daughters quite early. And when my oldest daughter asked me what her classmates were, she didn't know the word race. And I just kept telling her they were Canadian, and it was because I wanted her to feel equal to anybody, white or otherwise. And then when my daughters were teenagers, they came to me one day and they said, Mom, we have diaspora. I didn't even know what diaspora meant. I didn't know what the word meant. And the moment I looked up the meaning and the definition of diaspora, it was something that I realized I had felt my whole life from the moment that I left the Philippines. I remember feeling it almost physically, like my heart cracked open because my daughters who were born here were feeling diaspora, and it's something that I had denied my whole life. And so that was when my decolonizing journey really started. It's when I started to also think about the context of my own name and not knowing how we came about to have these Spanish names. The Philippines is an archipelago of 7,000 islands. We have hundreds and hundreds of languages. The Philippines was imperialized by the Spanish for 500 years. So I'm not clear on whether Dela Cruz came to be our name because somebody came to some kind of harm, or if somebody became married, or if just in the 1800s when there was a census, when so many Filipino names were changed to Spanish names. I just know that the Philippines has a history of violence that probably included my ancestors. It shifted for me the understanding of how my name might have come to be. My decolonial journey is really what led me to the work that I do now. I am a certified coach and facilitator, and I'm also a community developer with the Collingwood Neighborhood House. I think that is the biggest impact of my work, is to empower folks to question and critically analyze the context in which we dwell, as well as come to terms with compassion for the choices that we make, as well as the choices that were made for us that we had no control over. When I think about diaspora, I think about the dandelion, and you know how, like, when the flower dies, it becomes this round thing with seeds, and when it breaks up and it spreads all over the place, there's no way to bring it back together. But then the other side of it for me is the strength of my ancestors and their desire for each of those hundreds of seeds to land and thrive wherever it is that they land. That for me is the intent and the message for the kind of work that I want to do, is to empower those who feel lost to thrive where we are.